Nick Johnston explains.
While not exactly free as a bird, Jake was nevertheless enjoying his new surrounds today. As animal rescuers tended to his injured leg, he seemed unaware of the feathers he'd ruffled. The cockatoo had spent 2 weeks stuck up this gum tree in Kilsyth, but it wasn't until yesterday that a passing motorist realised something was wrong.
I noticed this white object in the tree, kept an eye on it every now and again as I drove past, not realising that it was a live bird.
She contacted wildlife authorities who called in a cherry picker courtesy of Yarra Ranges Shire. In a delicate rescue operation, they climbed to the bird to discover his foot had become trapped in netting around one of the tree's branches. While Jake was initially reluctant to leave his perch, with the help of a blanket, animal handlers were able to drag him to safety. His rescuers say without other cockatoos feeding him, Jake would almost certainly have suffered a slow and painful death.
It's been amazing how the other birds have come along and they've been obviously feeding it and keeping it going.
While his leg will have to be amputated, Jake is expected to see out his days in relative comfort. And while he won't be taking flight anytime soon, at least for now, he's no longer in a flap. Nick Johnston, National 9 News.
Trapped up a tree and left to die. How a cockatoo was saved by his feathered friends. We'll have the amazing story of survival soon. All world this time. A cockatoo has been kept alive for 2 weeks by his feathered friends.
Now, the bird was stuck in a gum tree with its leg caught in netting. Now, to tell us the rest of the story, we're joined by animal rescuer Nigel Williamson. Good morning to you, Nigel.
Good morning, Larry and Kylie.
Hi, this is an extraordinary story. Can you take us through it?
Yes, it absolutely is. It's one of my most bizarre ones. This bird in front of me had been caught up about 60 foot up a gum tree, a dead one, mind you, with its leg caught in some bird netting. As you can see on the left leg here. Oops, coming back here, Jake. He'd been up there for at least 2 and possibly 3 weeks, tied to the dead branch, and because of the other birds that were in the area, they were feeding him to keep him alive.
Now, what did they do? So they'd go off and collect food and bring it back to him? Is that how it worked?
No, nobody actually saw it actually happening, but for the bird to be in as good as health as what Jake is, the only scenario we can put to it is that other birds had been feeding and looking after him.
Is that kind of unusual for birds to do that, Nigel?
Right, well, in my business, I've come across animals that are stuck and injured, and quite often you get other animals of the same species coming in to help the one that's actually trapped and injured, so it doesn't surprise me at all.
All right. How's the bird shaping up? Any permanent damage?
Right, well, apart from losing the toes on the leg there, the leg is actually going to be amputated on Thursday, so he'll have a little stump there, but there's no reason why Jake's not going to survive and live a long time.
I'm kind of guessing that's why you're calling him Jake. Is it kind of that Jake the... What's that song? Is that why?
The Rolf Harris song.
Yes,
that's the one.
it.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Cute.
All right, now, do you think that Jake is someone's pet?
Well, the way that I've been handling him, he certainly is domesticated. He's not a wild bird, otherwise my fingers will be chewed off at the moment as we speak. But, yeah, I think it has been somebody's pet somewhere down the line, and Jake hasn't said anything, so we aren't able to tell whether or not, you know, with his language, to whether or not we can find an owner.
Oh, thought you'd be better than that.
Well, I'm trying to get him to talk, but he's not responding back to me.
Yeah. All right, it's a great story. Thanks for sharing it with us.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nigel. Thanks, Jake.